full disclosure, we're going to be talking about this memorandum in two separate videos. There's so much that we can uncover here with the ideas presented within this memo, and just covering all that in one video doesn't really seem too cost-effective because I do want to get really into this. Also, I apologize if I hear raindrops. It's pretty bad weather out here in Vancouver right now, so as I record my videos beside my bedroom window, there can be some room for some loud pitter-patters throughout the audio of this recording, but we have ourselves what is a memorandum from the NHL as to how it relates to the NHL draft. Bill Daly has made a state case for an early June draft in a memo sent to teams. Now, a memo is a written message in business or diplomacy, meaning that it gives out a message as to what one party wants, pretty much. And the way this memo was laid out, Elliotte Friedman posted the thing on this Sportsnet article. It's really long, it goes over a lot of stuff, but what I wanted to talk about today was a specific tweet by Chris Johnston that talks about the memo and lays out a few interesting points that the memo proposes. Now, first off, this memo isn't something that lays out how the NHL is going to go about the draft. It's just proposing some ideas. It still needs to get approved, and it still needs to become a reality in some form later on. It's not the absolute definite truth today, it's just what the NHL is proposing. And once it gets approved, we may be able to see these changes take place, but Chris Johnston, on his Twitter account, talks about the NHL draft lottery and how the NHL plans to change it. Again, this is not the way it is right now, it's the way that the NHL is proposing it be changed to. If the draft lottery proposal outlined in tonight's NHL memo becomes a reality, Detroit would be guaranteed number 1 or number 2 overall. Ottawa could do no worse than owning number 3 and number 4. New Jersey, Buffalo, Montreal, and Chicago could not jump beyond 2, 3, 4, and 5, respectively. Now that is a boatload of information, and I'm going to make another video talking about the implications on that little Ottawa point over there, but I wanted to put a big focus on that Detroit point, because this could be the absolute security that Red Wings fans have been looking for the 2020 NHL draft. Because the way this is being laid out, and the way that last point comes to play, Buffalo, New Jersey, Montreal, Chicago, these guys can't jump up to 2, 3, 4, and 5, it indicates to me how the NHL's memo outlines the draft lottery. Pretty much, the change here is that the format would only have one winner. This is from the Sportsnet article published by Elliotte Friedman, which outlines the actual memo itself. There would only be one winner, and limiting any team moving up a max of 4 spots. This proposal changes it, so instead of doing a lottery for 3rd overall, for 2nd overall, and for 1st overall, there's just one lottery for 1st, which is why Detroit doesn't have the ability to drop down to number 4. If 3 teams underneath them in the standings, or at least in this case the draft lottery odds, win for 2nd or 3rd. It's why in our previous video talking about the Detroit Red Wings and their draft pick, we said that they're guaranteed top 4 once they clinched last place in the league, because if they clinch last place, they would have the best odds, but the possibility of teams still taking 1st, 2nd, and 3rd via lottery did exist. In this system, that is obsolete. They are guaranteed either 1st if they win it, or 2nd if they don't, and that sounds very, very nice. Oh man, 1st or 2nd overall? This is an incredible moment, and obviously this isn't approved yet. It's not something that has gone through. We don't know if the Red Wings are actually going to get up with first or second. They're statistically likely to, but at the same time, if this memo doesn't go through, then the possibility of them still dropping to 3 or 4 does exist, unfortunately. But that opens up an entirely new can of worms. If the Red Wings are drafting in the top 2, does that change the way you think they're going to go about things? They were already guaranteed a top 4 pick, but changing that up and guaranteeing them first or second could be a little bit more impactful to some than to others. Because if you take a look at the top draft picks in this year's NHL draft, you have Alexis Lafrenière, a man who is so great, and a man who doesn't need any introduction because everybody pretty much knows how good this guy is, how good he is going to be, and how soon he can make an NHL impact. Quinton Byfield is the projected second overall pick, a guy who is so skilled with untapped potential beyond the moon, and a guy who may not make an extraordinarily strong impact at the NHL level like Lafreniere will as soon, but who still has an incredibly high ceiling and who will be a superstar in the NHL if everything goes right. Those are the top 2 projected picks. But as we noted in our video earlier on in the month, talking about a specific German who may be in that conversation too, there's one more. Tim Stützle is Germany's best hockey prospect, and that's something that everybody can kind of agree with. Some may say that he is the best German prospect since Draisaitl. Others will say that he is the best one, period, above Draisaitl. And when we talked about Stutzla being a consideration for first overall by the Detroit Red Wings, the majority of Red Wings comments in the comment section below all said the same thing. If Yzerman does it, which we don't know if he's going to do it, but if he does it, we'll have faith in the guy. There has been a very, very big awakening to me that I didn't realize beforehand, because I wasn't always a Red Wings fan. I only really became a Red Wings fan within the past, let's say, few months or so. It's a great ride, don't get me wrong, but there was something that I realized that is so different, in my opinion, from my experience of being an NHL fan, that it kind of blows my mind. Red Wings fans have the utmost trust and faith in Steve Yzerman. Now, Red Wings fans in the comments may be like, okay, what are you talking about? Of course we do. But hear me out. This is something that I legitimately am surprised about, because as a Vancouver Canucks fan, as a guy who's been a fan of this team for the past 10 years pretty much, I'm all for the team and the fans not really being on the same page. For the fans taking a look at the GM and criticizing moves that he makes. I've seen it with these picks in the past. Canucks getting criticized because they picked Brock Besser 24th overall. Getting criticized because they picked Elias Pettersson. Getting criticized for trades. But the Red Wings fan base, on the other hand, is completely different. Everything that Yzerman does, even if they don't like it initially, they open up to it within the next few hours pretty much, and by the end of the next day, fans are talking about how Yzerman did a great thing. Now, maybe that's because Ken Holland was the guy here before and he wasn't necessarily great at his job. Steve Yzerman is the brand new guy in town, and he's got all this prosperity as a Red Wings legend, and fans just want to see him succeed. But it was really surprising to me to see in the comment section of the Stutzla first overall video that Red Wings fans would not be upset if they passed on a Lafreniere for Stutzla. And with that idea in mind, if Detroit is guaranteed 1 or 2, and it's going to be Byfield, Stutzla, or Lafreniere, this team is set, man. The only way I could see the Red Wings screwing up this draft is if they trade the pick, and that's not going to happen. So, Red Wings fans, give it a few months. Just a few months later, from this point removed, you will most likely have Lafreniere, Byfield, or Stutzla on your hockey team. And I like the sound of that. I really, really do. Of course, though, that is only if the NHL's memo gets approved. If it doesn't get approved, then, oh boy, you're stuck at 4th overall. Boo-hoo. Lucas Raymond, Marco Rossi, how bad of a draft pick is that? Obviously, I'm joking, but you get what I'm saying here. Lafrenière, Stützle, Byfield, crazy, crazy good prospects. I hope you enjoyed this video. So that Trost 99, and bye.